Good morning, everyone. So I'm here today to tell you about something that I'm really quite excited about, which is to do with my favourite topic that I love teaching, which is art. So I'm going to share my screen with you and tell you all about this exciting opportunity. All right, so art, which most of you will know, I've loved teaching everybody art, very passionate about it, because art is anything to anybody. It can be completely different. It's your interpretation of the world, okay? The way that you see the world is different from every other person on the planet, and the ideas in your head can make the most beautiful art. And also anything can be art, absolutely anything. So I'm really excited today because the Royal Academy of Arts is having a competition, okay? And we're opening it up to our students at Franklin to enter this art competition. So what is it and how does it work? So it's called the Young Artists Summer Show. It's free, open submission. Anyone can enter from 5 years old up to 19 years old, which is you guys. And I'm really excited because it can be about anything at all. So the artwork can be made using any medium, and I'm going to talk to you about what that is in a minute. It can be things like painting, a sculpture, a photograph, a video, a drawing, or it could be a combination of these things. And there's no theme, so you could literally make art about any topic that pops into your head, anything at all. So what I'm going to go through with you now is what kind of mediums could you use and what kind of inspirational ideas could you use. And of course, you might come up with other ones that I've not even spoken about. Okay, so let me jump on over to my camera. Okay, so the first medium I wanted to talk to you about was colouring in pencils. So if you have any colouring in pencils at all, you could use those to create fantastic art. Okay, so for example, you might find an object around the house. It could be anything at all that's around your house, and you could draw that out and colour it in using the colouring in pencils. Okay, so picking any objects around the house, I just picked some fruit. Okay, and drawing those out. So when we're doing our drawings, remember, just as we did when we were doing Van Gogh's sunflowers, we want to draw the basic shape of the object. Remember that when we're doing pencils, we hold it halfway back. Let me get a colour that I can use, yellow, or the end of the pencil, putting it flat, not up on its tip, putting it flat to shade in, get that really smooth colour there. Okay, so maybe you could draw, I don't know, some fruit, you could draw a chair, you could draw a mug. Maybe if you decided you're going to draw a mug, get a mug, sit it down, have a go at drawing that. It can be literally anything at all that's around your house. So first medium, we could use pencils and we could draw objects around our house. The next thing that you might use as a medium might be marker or colour pens, felt tip pens, okay? So maybe if you have some colouring pens like that around your house, you could use those to draw some sort of art or design some sort of picture. And maybe you could draw a place you'd like to go or places that you've been to. So I've made this using these markers here, just simply by getting the colours that I like, so maybe blue, and using that to create beautiful patterns in the water. So you can use your marker pens to make very bright, vivid colours. So again, just when we're colouring and shading in, remember that again, we do want to try to go like I am, holding the pencil halfway back along the side, so that we're not getting bits of colour that's a bit too intense, or you can see here where it's a bit too dark because I over-coloured it. Okay, so maybe you can use markers and draw places that you wish you could go since we're in lockdown. Okay, what else can you use for your medium? Maybe you've got crayons around your house. Now, we used crayons to draw our Van Gogh, sunflowers. So maybe you could use crayons again, and perhaps you could draw artwork based on your favorite characters from shows. So many of you may know that Miss Boots is a huge Avatar: The Last Airbender fan. Absolutely love the show. So I made my own interpretation. It's an avocado, so it's Avatar: The Last Airbender, and I've got him bending all the elements, and I made this using crayons. So maybe you could take your favorite characters or things that you love in pop culture, particularly because we did things like pop art. You can use famous things or characters to make that. So maybe you could do your interpretation of your favorite character from a show or a book or something that you love. Okay, perhaps you have some paints, whether that is acrylic paint, or maybe you have one of these watercolors. This could just be like a cheap watercolor from Tesco or something, but you could maybe use watercolors to do some painting. And using, what could we do? Well, maybe you could paint some animals. Maybe if you love animals or something you're passionate about, you could paint animals. Okay, so this is like a raccoon and a cheetah. So if you love paint or draw something that you're passionate about, that you are interested in. So for example, if you're interested in the universe and the galaxy, maybe you could paint the stars or a nebula or something from science. If that's your passion, find something that you love learning about or you love looking at, paint it, draw it, do the things that make you happy. So maybe you've got something like that you could do some artwork about. What else? Maybe you could draw people. Maybe you could draw people from your family, draw your family members. Just remember, when we're drawing faces, you want to draw a rough circle shape. Halfway down, draw the eyes. That will give you a great starting point. Your eyes go halfway down your face. Maybe you could draw your family members or somebody that you're living with or your neighbor. You could do some drawings. As well, maybe you have another medium we could use, chalk. Maybe you've got some chalk at home. All right, so just you could use chalk. You can get it from Tesco, or if you already have it at home, using some chalk. Maybe using chalk, we could draw scenes and scenery. Maybe you could draw like a city, for example, or a beach. Okay, so you can use chalk to make these lovely like shadows, really beautiful texture and depth, something like that. Maybe you could have a go at that. So there's loads and loads and loads of different options that you have for making art. Okay, now the other things that you could do are sculpture. So if you want to like make something using objects around the house, that's perfectly acceptable. Maybe you want to film a video or take a photograph, and I'm going to show you some examples from other students who've done that. So just to quickly recap, things that you could use to make art: pencils or felt tip markers, paints or watercolors, chalk, crayon, sculpture. The one I didn't talk about was collage, where you cut out a layer, bits of pictures on top of each other. You could do a collage. You could use photography or make a film, or you could use digital art, kind of like how we've been using Tulogo to make artwork. Maybe there's a program that you could draw a picture in as well. And what could we use for inspiration? Well, there's things around your house, animals or things that you love, family, friends, your interests, things you're passionate about. Anything can be art, and I really, really want you to just pick whatever makes you happy, whatever you think of, have a go at doing that. Okay, so what have we learned over this year that we can use to help us in this art competition? So we did Van Gogh, and he is very famous for his dot work type of art, for his very small strokes. So you could use those little small dashes and strokes like we practiced. You could be impressionist, how the picture, it doesn't have to look exact. So if I take it back, I've got this picture is very literal. It looks just like a human girl. This, just for your knowledge, is based on Iris, the Greek goddess of the rainbow. So I took a passion that I'm interested in, which is Greek gods and goddesses, and I drew about it, okay? But then something like this is more impressionist. You can tell that it's a city, but it's not very clear and exact and sharp, okay? So just like that, in Van Gogh's paintings, you can see that it's the night sky, you can see some buildings, but it's not exact. So maybe you could do something more impressionist. You could use lots of spirals and basic shapes. Remember how when we were doing the Van Gogh sunflowers, we first drew all the circles. The base shape for all the flowers was a circle. So you can use that to help you build up your picture. Remember, it never happens the first time. Art takes practice. Maybe you will use a monotone color, just like Van Gogh. That means that we use one color palette to make our picture. So you can see this is mostly blues, lots of different shades of blues, and then it's just got a tiny little bit of yellow dotted around, but it's monotone because it's monochrome, I should say, because it's all one type of color. And just remember, when you're drawing something, so for example, I'm going to take it back. If I take it back to my picture of the fruit, okay, it's a basic shape. There's a circle, there's a triangle, another circle, circle. So I only drew a circle to start with, and then I build it up and I get more definition as it goes along. So let me take it back now. So what else have we learned? Well, last year you did pop art with me. Oh, maybe not with me. Some of the classes did it with me. So with pop art, we've got things like a repeating pattern. Okay, so it's the same picture over and over and over again, and it could be something that's really popular, so things that people like. So maybe you could do pop art about an Xbox, just do an Xbox, or repeating pattern. And pop art also uses really bright contrasting colors. Each one is a slightly different color. It pops out at you, okay, and it's also about popular culture. Okay, so you could use the things that we've learned over year 3 and 4 in our art to make something. So what have previous year group done? So these are some examples from year 3, 4, 5 and 6, I think, to show you other work that has been in this show in the previous year. So we've got an impressionist picture called Mysterious Pictures from someone in year 3. That was in the show last year. You've got sculpture. Maybe you could make something, maybe if you've got some clay, or it just be things that you've glued together. This person has made a movement sculpture to show somebody walking in action. So maybe you can make a sculpture. We've got a photo collage. Okay, so they've taken a photo of themselves and superimposed it, laid it on top of a picture of the universe. I quite like this one because it looks like his brain is the star in the middle there. So maybe you could do some digital editing, get a photo editing app and do something like that. We've got a lovely picture called Ducks in the Pond from somebody in year 4. And they've just drawn some ducks, but in the water, they've drawn like beautiful little patterns all around. You could do something like that. We've got this lovely, I thought this reminded me of pop art quite a bit, a repeating pattern. Somebody in year 5 submitted some drawings of his mum's shoes. Okay, so just taking an object from around your house and making art with that. So there's so many options, guys. Anything can be art. It's all about your interpretation. So the last thing I want to leave you with before is just to remind you that art takes practice. So if I quickly show you, there it is. This is my picture of the girl, but let me show you. This was my first attempt. This was my 4th attempt. It's the same girl, but it took me 4 attempts for it to go from looking more like a cartoon to a real person. Art takes practice. Practice it over and over. Edit your pictures. You will get better the more you practice something. So I would really encourage you that if you're going to have a go at art, give it more than one go. When we were doing Van Gogh's sunflowers, first we just drew the sunflower, then we drew it broken down in parts, then we drew a first attempt, and then we drew our last attempt. We had multiple practices before you did your final piece. So art, just like learning an instrument, just like learning math, it takes practice. So if it doesn't look right the first time, give it another go. So I really encourage you, join in, have a go. What you need to do is do some artwork, take a picture, upload it onto Seesaw. You can enter as many different bits of artwork as you want. And of course, your art can be absolutely anything. Okay, so I'm really excited about this because I know what fantastic artists we have in year 4. I have seen across the year group, all of you doing artwork at home while you've been in lockdown. So I really would encourage you that while you have this opportunity, create some art, put it up on Seesaw for us, and maybe you'll get to be in the Royal Art Show this year. All right. I look forward to seeing what you come up with. Have a lovely day, and I will see you soon. Bye.